Veris Research presents the New Mexico Frontiers Digital Show.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for episode 3 of New Mexico Frontiers, the digital series. I am Chad Brummett, your host, and today we have the opportunity to talk to Mr. Jon Clark, who is a very busy guy with the New Mexico Economic Development Department. And Jon, as you were saying, this time of year, everyone's getting ready for the holidays. You guys are getting ready for the legislative session coming up. So I appreciate you taking a little bit of time to talk with us today. Before we get into some of the things that the Economic Development Department is doing to help the economy here in the state, for those that may not be aware what your department does, share a little bit about the goings-on in the Economic Development Department.
Sure, thank you. So there are a few main functions that we do. We recruit businesses into the state. We also help existing businesses expand, and we help start up new companies. And we've actually recently rolled out a couple of new initiatives along those lines so that we're better able to help those new companies starting up. But we also work with Main Street districts across New Mexico. We have about 30 of them to try to create a better livable place where people can walk and enjoy their downtown areas or historic streets. And then we also have the film office, which obviously is in charge of trying to encourage additional filming in New Mexico and build on the incredible work that's already being done. Also try to direct the work to build our new Media Academy facilities. And then also we have the Outdoor Recreation Division as part of our office. And we know that outdoor recreation is a huge part of the lives of so many New Mexicans. We're trying to make it easier to become aware of and access a lot of those trails and other outdoor activities.
Wow, so there's a lot that I think a lot of people might not think of, when thinking of the trails and outdoor activities. You might not think that would be under purview, so it's really fascinating you guys are doing that. So to that end, you touched on a few things that I kind of wanted to talk about, and this is really kind of a large swath of things that I was interested in unpacking with you today. Let's start small. And sort of build up from there, starting with mom and pop shops and small businesses. Something that's always been near and dear to my heart. My parents were entrepreneurs. They owned their own small business for a number of years here in New Mexico. So I am always curious and concerned about how small businesses are doing. And in terms of the Economic Development Department, what are you guys doing to help facilitate these New Mexico homegrown entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. Really, small businesses are the lifeblood of the New Mexico economy. It's wonderful that we're able to recruit in some of these big companies to New Mexico, but it is the small businesses of New Mexico that really make our state what it is. And so it's really important both to support local businesses by buying local over the holidays, but also it's important for us to do what we can. And one thing that we're doing to try to make it easier to be an entrepreneur in New Mexico, easier to start up a business, is we've opened an Office of Entrepreneurship that never existed before. There never used to be one place at the state that you could call or email to find out everything that you need to know. What financing is available, or is it possible to get a loan? Where do I go to incorporate my business? Where do I register for this and that? Now we have one office housed within the Economic Development Department where you can go and have all of those questions answered. We're also working through that office to try to coordinate the activities of everyone in the entrepreneurial ecosystem across the state, because there are so many people across the state trying to make life easier for our small mom and pop shops, for our entrepreneurs, but there really wasn't any state level coordination. And so we're trying to do that as well. And then also putting together some new programs specifically designed to try to help entrepreneurs, and asking the legislature for more funding to build on those in coming years.
Wow, that is really great to know. I know that a few friends of mine that have started small businesses, I know in the very, early phases, that was the questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? Where do I go? And it's great that you guys are consolidating that and making it easier for New Mexico entrepreneurs to start those businesses and realize those dreams. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, talking, as we said, that's the lifeblood of the economy here, but we do have the big companies, the big businesses, Netflix obviously being here, and one of the longest ones, as long as I've been, as I can remember, Intel has been a huge part of the New Mexico economy. Now, they came here in the 80s, building up as Rio Ranch was built building up. I remember looking out at our empty backyard as Rio Rancho was building up, and you could see the Intel building. They actually kind of had a rough patch at some point in their tenure here in New Mexico. You guys were able to help them get out of that and move forward and become more successful. Is that right?
Absolutely. There was actually a time when we were worried that Intel might completely close, and we were beginning to wonder if we were going to have to market that facility to other companies. But luckily, they didn't close. They did significantly reduce their headcount, but they have built back up significantly over the last year or so, and they plan to grow it even more moving forward because they're doing a major expansion of their plant. And it was really only possible due to funding that was provided by the legislature and the governor uh, through a program that we have called LEDA. It's our Local Economic Development Act. And it's a way that we have to help companies that are looking to either locate to New Mexico or expand in New Mexico that need some help paying for upgrading facilities, adding improvements to the building, to the land, things like that. And then also we have our job training incentive program, which helps offset the cost of training new employees. And that's helpful for big companies like Intel, but also it's just as usable for small companies that are looking to hire one or two people. So any company in New Mexico that either manufactures a product or exports the majority of its service out of the state, where they get the majority of their revenue coming from outside the state, typically qualifies for our job training incentive program. And we've had big companies, as you mentioned, like Intel use JTIP, but also little mom and pop shops located in rural New Mexico have found it to be a fantastically useful program that they can use to help offset the cost of bringing people in and giving them that on the job training that they need to get up to speed.
Yeah, that's really great that you're offering that, and that really through all levels of businesses here in New Mexico that they can benefit from that. And also really good to hear that you do help with, retrofitting businesses. A lot of times these big companies, they may want to come, but they don't want to build from the ground up. They want to take something over. And so being able to help facilitate that is super important. Now, you did touch on one thing too that I want to unpack a little more, which is the Media Academy. Obviously, one of the big industries that has grown over the past couple of decades here in New Mexico is our film industry. And you guys are making it a little easier for New Mexicans to find their way into that industry. Is that right?
Absolutely. So we actually are going to have a groundbreaking ceremony coming up soon for the Albuquerque Rail Yards facility. There's also going to be a Las Cruces facility, but they're both under this Media Academy operation that we have housed under the Economic Development Department. And what's really important is that we're educating the people in New Mexico on the very exacting skill sets that they need to get these higher paying jobs in the film industry. There's great data to show that a job in the film industry pays significantly more than an average job in New Mexico. These are really good, high quality, high paying jobs with benefits that you often don't need a college degree to be able to get, but you do often need some very specific training. And so this program through the Media Academy is designed to be able to give you essentially specialized training in a classroom setting, but then also on productions, give you that last stage of training that you need so that film companies then know, okay, they have some real world experience under their belts, they're ready to go.
Yeah, and that is very important. Anyone that has worked in the film industry, has worked on a movie set or a TV set, it moves so fast. So you have to know what's going on because it moves at a very crisp pace. So making sure that people have the training and the tools so when they are on set as a gaffer or a wardrober, working in any department, they can be ready for it and they can succeed and thrive, join the unions, and make a lot of money doing it. I know that's there as well. Now, one thing, in talking about wages for various jobs, as we were saying, getting in with IATSE or SAG-AFTRA and these unions, you're going to make more money. But you don't have to necessarily rely on the film industry to make more money. You're actually saying that wages, we are seeing them go up here in New Mexico. Is that correct?
Absolutely, we really are, which is fantastic news because we know that New Mexicans have always made less on average than the rest of the country. But in the decade following the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, we had a 10-year period where we fell farther behind. For about 10 years, that gap just grew where New Mexicans became poorer and poorer relative to the rest of the country. We've seen over the last few years, though, some significant gains. We're starting to make up that gap, and we're on a wonderful trajectory now where we're seeing wage growth across industries, and not just wage growth within the state, but compared to the rest of the country. And so now we're in the top tier of states that are seeing wage growth. And that's wonderful for New Mexicans because it means that they're going to have more real income and more money that they're able to spend on their families and things that they want to do recreationally around the state.
Yeah. Do you know, Jon, off the top of your head, some of the businesses that may be contributing to seeing this rise in salaries and average wages?
So we are seeing it across a number of industries, but we're seeing a lot of increase in high-skilled manufacturing. We're seeing increases in wages in trades jobs. And I think that's something where we're trying to change the narrative, because for a long time in the country, there was a narrative of you have to get a college degree in order to get a high-paying job. And that's not the case any longer. You can get a really high-paying trades job, and you can go through a short program at community colleges and come out being able to make more than often you would be able to make if you got a four-year degree. So I think we're really trying to change that narrative and show that you can have a great career as a tradesperson, and those jobs are really needed. We have Intel and Los Alamos National Laboratories and other major employers telling us that that's one of the challenges that they face, is having enough skilled tradespeople to be able to do all the construction work and all of the building and equipment upgrades that they're trying to do, as well as to build all of the renewable energy facilities that are getting constructed around the state. So I think for anyone who hasn't considered a trades job, that is something that really has a very bright, promising future in New Mexico and across the rest of the country.
Yeah, especially if you see all of the development that is going on with, as you said, renewable energy, lots of opportunities coming in. I know that Mesa del Sol is getting ready for a big addition with solar panels down the road. I know that the deal is in negotiation and being worked through on that right now. So obviously, when that gets green lit, boots on the ground, we need to make sure that we have the staff and the availability of people that can build these things out. So welders and construction, plumbers, electricians, all of that, they are going to be in high demand.
Absolutely, but I would say that there is so much of this sort of work already going on around the state, that these positions are already in high demand. We expect them to become in even higher demand, but there is a shortage already of skilled tradespeople across the state.
As we close out here, I'm curious to find out, in your opinion, Jon, and maybe things that you have seen and things you've been working on in the Economic Development Department, if there was one big challenge. Obviously, there are a number of challenges when we're dealing with the economy. People concerned about inflation, people concerned about making ends meet. But if there was one big challenge, one big hurdle that the state of New Mexico needs to get over to increase our economic development, what would you say that would be?
I think it's been clear for some time now that one of our biggest hurdles is water. And I don't know if you've seen it, but the governor just announced a new plan to significantly increase the amount of water available in New Mexico by encouraging through incentives the transformation of non-potable water, either produced water from the oil fields or brackish water, into potable water sources. So this is going to be really transformational, both for residents and agricultural users of New Mexico, but also for a lot of the high technology manufacturing companies that we're looking to recruit to the state. And I think this really is going to be a game changer in our state's ability to continue to grow our economy successfully.
And it seems, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Jon, looking at the release on this, the press release about this program for the governor, New Mexico stepping in to help, spending $500 million to get this water accessible to it. And then on the other side of it, private companies will be coming in. They will help build out some of this infrastructure. So this is another opportunity that we are seeing for New Mexico to help foster this relationship of businesses coming in, working on renewable energy, working on making sure that we have, taking that brackish water and making it potable. This seems like a good example of exactly that in action.
Absolutely. Through this and through recent announcements like Maxion locating in Albuquerque and going to employ nearly a couple thousand people in their solar manufacturing plant, and other companies that we anticipate being able to announce soon, but also some other companies that have recently announced over the last couple of years. I think we're really seeing that New Mexico not just is becoming, but has now become the leading state in the country for development of water resources and advanced energy resources. So we're becoming known for this internationally now and successfully recruiting companies from around the country and around the world, including Germany, Taiwan, Australia.
Wow. I think that's a big statement considering that New Mexico, being a landlocked state, being in a desert, we are always having to fight drought conditions. So it's a little maybe ironic, so to say, that we are one of the leaders in this and that we are working toward that. But obviously it's because we've got that problem. No one's going to solve it for us. We might as well do it ourselves.
Absolutely, and the state is putting the resources into making it happen, but also making it happen in coordination with industry, who we have to have as a partner. We can't do it on our own, and we're working hand in hand with industry to bring New Mexico into the forefront on this.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys doing a lot of work over there, Jon, and it sounds like you got a lot ahead of you on the legislative session 2024. Obviously, I know there's a lot of things you probably can't unpack and share, but is there any sort of sneak peek that you can give folks in terms of what we're looking at for the session in 2024?
So for our department, we're asking for some additional staff because we want to make sure that we are able to be extremely responsive and go out and meet with all of these companies, all of these communities, and then also continue all of the coordination that we've been doing with other agencies and state and local groups. But we're also asking for $30 million in funding for our LEDA program. Again, this is the program that helped us with the Intel expansion, but has also helped us with a variety of small business expansions across the state. So I think that's a really critical program that we need to continue to fund. It has been probably the most successful economic development tool that we've had as a state in the last 30 years. So really supporting our LEDA program is essential to supporting the continued economic growth in New Mexico.
Wow. Great stuff. Thanks for a little bit of insight on what is coming for 2024. Jon Clark, we really appreciate your time today. Again, know you're a very busy man. Appreciate you taking some time out of your day and out of your week to share this with us.
Thanks so much, Chad.
Absolutely. And folks at home watching, if you want more information, of course, head over to krqe.com. You can find us also on YouTube. If you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure that you click like and subscribe before we finish up. Once again, I'm Chad Brummett. This is New Mexico Frontiers, the digital series. We'll see you next time.
Please subscribe to our channel and like this video.